Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Now at 6:30 on WKYT, we are on the scene of breaking news after a large fire has damaged a historic building this morning in downtown Harrodsburg.
Police bust two teenagers caught trying to break into a car dealership overnight in Lexington.
And it looks like it could be a sloppy start to the fall meet at Keeneland. Those stories and more breaking news as it happens. Coming up on WKYT This Morning. It's Friday. Good morning, everybody, and welcome in. It's good to have you with us here on October 3rd as we get this new day rolling. Heading for a big weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Big weekend in terms of events going on, also in terms of the weather changes.
That's right, and it's a dramatic change. It sounds like at least for tomorrow. This morning we're tracking showers, and Micah says those could be arriving probably at Keeneland about now, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's right over Keeneland at the moment. Whitney's probably out there getting a little drenched. It's not much rain, but you're still getting some as it moves over that region. The good news is that's the heaviest rain you'll see today. So there's some good news, and you can see it. It's a band stretching right along 75. Some of us on 75 are actually seeing some rain. Some of us give it another 30 minutes, and it'll move on through. Let me put this thing into action. You can see it's all moving. The whole system is moving east, but these showers are actually moving toward the northeast. You see kind of the loop of that. We're going to be socked in here in Lexington, in the Bluegrass region, for the next 2 to 3 hours. And then we'll start to see some breaks in the action here and there. There's your forecast the next 24 hours, 72 by the afternoon. We'll talk much more on this as we head toward the weekend, because the weekend is when it gets really interesting. And I'll show you that forecast coming up.
Right, thank you, Micah. Our news team busy this morning.
We begin with a breaking news alert out of Mercer County. Crews are on the scene of a fire in downtown Harrodsburg.
It started about 3:30 this morning at the old City Hall and Opera House building on Main Street right there in town. This is eyewitness video from the fire. The good news, the fire is now under control. WKYT's Mark Barber is tracking the breaking news live from the scene, and he's joining us with the new information we have. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Fire crews say they are still working to put out the hot spots that are continuing to flare up right now inside the old Opera House here on Main Street in downtown Harrodsburg. Now, fire crews say that the fire also spread to Old City Hall, which is nearby, but they say that they haven't been able to start their investigation. They're trying to figure out what sparked the fire inside these two historic buildings. Now, fire crews say that they were called out here about 3:30 to 4 o'clock this morning when two people were walking nearby and noticed flames and smoke pouring out of the old Opera House. I'm told that when fire crews got here and hooked up the hose to fire hydrants and started pumping water into the building, flames were pouring out of the second and third story windows. Now, crews say the good news here is that the fire did not do much damage to this theater section of the old Opera House. However, they say the corners and the exterior of the building are pretty extensively damaged. They also say that the old City Hall also has extensive smoke damage. They're waiting until the daylight hours come so they can get a better look to see if there's any water damage inside that building as well. Now, I have also learned this morning that a church met inside the old Opera House. That's what its use was right now. And in fact, they had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, and that the meeting advertised on the outside of the old Opera House here was for a healing service. So obviously, this is a devastating thing for the community here that has really recognized this building as a landmark for years. Now, the fire marshal is taking over this investigation. I'm told that they are still working at this hour to figure out what sparked the flames. They say they do have an idea right now that the flame started at the front left side of the building. They're not sure how they started, though. I am told that they do not suspect arson at this time. Of course, we will continue to keep you updated here and bring you the latest. Live in Harrodsburg, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, a very storied building there in a very historic town in Harrodsburg this morning. And again, things seem to be now under control. New this morning, two teenagers are facing charges after police say they were caught breaking into a car lot. Lexington police say the two 14-year-olds forced their way inside Enterprise Rentals on New Circle near North Broadway. They stole some keys, but a security guard at a nearby dealership spotted them and caught them in the act. Police found both suspects. They say one of them had a stolen gun as well. Both are charged with burglary, and they've been handed over to their parents.
Also new this morning, we're tracking a crime alert after an overnight robbery. Lexington police say a group of gunmen stole the victim's wallet last night in Winburn near Gerald Drive. They say the victim was supposed to meet up with a woman, but he was met by 4 men instead. Police say the woman was in on the crime. They're still looking for all 5 suspects. Happening today, a man charged in a Lexington murder case will be back in court. A grand jury indicted Claude Dalrymple with murder. Last August, police say he beat his roommate Dale Irons to death at an apartment on Cambridge Drive. School assessment results are officially in for schools across the Commonwealth.
Mixed results of the 51 Fayette County public schools. 13 were classified as distinguished. 9 received proficient ratings. Superintendent Dr. Tom Shelton says 2/3 of the schools in the district did score higher than last year. But Williams Wells Brown Elementary had among the lowest elementary scores in the state. And as part of a plan for improvement there, the United Way is working with the school system to get 400 volunteer tutors for the school. That would be one for each student.
We've invested about $15 million in the community, and yet we're seeing that some schools are not producing as well as we want them to. And so what we also need to do is bring in what we call human assets, people, to help. And so we've been having conversations with pastors throughout our region. We've had conversations with business leaders, and quite frankly, with college students who have interest in volunteering and helping in schools.
Anyone interested in volunteering can call 211. The United Way is also making training available for anyone who is interested in helping out. And taking a look at some other schools in central Kentucky, there are some encouraging trends. Clark County ranked in the 70th percentile of all school districts, giving the school system an overall proficient. Jessamine County also received a proficient ranking, scoring better than 82% of schools. Laurel County's overall score was a 71.8 for a proficient ranking. Madison, Scott, and Bourbon counties also ranked proficient. Franklin County scored 66.2%. That's better than last year, but it ranks as a district that needs improvement. Woodford County received distinguished. They scored better than 94% of all Kentucky school districts. Now on WKYT.com, you can find a link to see how your particular school performed.
Georgetown College has scheduled a memorial for a recent graduate killed in South America. The service for Erica Hagen will be Monday afternoon in the John L. Hill Chapel. Last month, police found Hagen dead in her apartment in Chile. They later arrested a security guard at the Chilean school where she taught. Hagen was from Marshall County and graduated from Georgetown College in May. Well, an American freelance cameraman working in Liberia has tested positive for Ebola. NBC News correspondent Dr. Nancy Snyderman was actually working with the 33-year-old man who's been diagnosed in the country. She has tweeted that she and her team are self-quarantined. In Texas, health officials are reaching out to as many as 100 people who may have come in contact with the first person diagnosed with Ebola in the United States. Thomas Duncan exhibited symptoms of the virus shortly after arriving in Texas from Liberia.
It's now 6:38 here on WKYT this morning, and a business with ties to central Kentucky will be in the spotlight today during President Obama's visit to Indiana. The president will talk about the economy while at Millennium Steel in Princeton, Indiana. The company processes steel to be used as car parts and has roots in Nicholasville. The CEO, Henry Jackson, served in the Vietnam War, then later got his MBA and started his own business. Some of Jackson's business colleagues from Lexington will be traveling up to Indiana for the president's visit. Former presidential candidate Mitt Romney came to Lexington to endorse U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell for re-election. Romney joined McConnell at Donnemeyer Horse Farm. Romney says he has no plans of running for the presidency again. Meanwhile, Allison Lundergan Grimes was also in Lexington yesterday at the Nuns for the Bus rally. She says she would support a minimum wage increase if she's elected. Election day just a month away on November 4th. All right, it is an exciting time in the Bluegrass, not just about the election, but other things going on. And rain or shine, a new season begins today out at Keeneland.
Of course, Kentucky known as being the horse capital of the world, so we all get pretty excited when this time of year comes around. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel live at Keeneland, where a new dirt track will be put to use today.
Hey guys, I just want to mention that I heard Micah say earlier that I'm probably out here getting rained on. I'm actually not getting rained on because we're under the grandstands right now, but you are right. It is raining here at Keeneland, and you can see behind me the track. It's not too bad though. No heavy rain so far, just a couple of sprinkles, which is good for the trainers that are out here loosening up the horses for the day ahead. You're going to notice a lot of changes to this year's fall meet here at Keeneland. You'll see there's a new dirt track which has replaced a synthetic pond poly track that's been used since 2006. Also, for the first time in history, Keeneland will offer its first $1 million race, the Shadwell Turf Mile. And that's actually happening tomorrow as part of Fall Stars Weekend. Every Saturday this month, activities here will start at 7 in the morning. Of course, there's also tailgating on the hill, and bedologists will also be around to help. Here are some quick facts that you'll need to know this year. Gates open at 11 each morning. Post time is at 1:05. There is no racing on Mondays and Tuesdays. Admission is $5, but children 12 and under are free. Now, this year's fall meet runs through October 25th, and one concern on this opening day is, of course, the chance of rain. And as Micah mentioned earlier, the heaviest rain is expected this morning, although it hasn't picked up quite yet, and there's going to be some spotty showers this afternoon. But racing is rarely canceled because of rain, but sometimes they do have to delay some of the races to let some of the bad weather pass through. We'll have all of this information that you'll need to know about this year's fall meet on WKYT.com. We're live at Keeneland. Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
All right. Smart move getting into that awning there.
Yeah, definitely.
With the rain coming down.
Let's check now to see how traffic is moving on the roads.
Our time this morning is 6:41. Let's go to Officer Don and check on live drive traffic. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, gang. Well, Micah made a good point earlier. We haven't had much rain in a while, so the roads are going to be slick. A lot of oils coming to the surface this morning, especially when the rain first begins. So please be careful at the intersections as you try to come to a stop. You may slide through if you don't really plan ahead. Let's get a look outside right now, and we'll show you what's happening as you plan to head out the door. It's a quiet Friday morning, which is great. As we look at the wet roads, I-75, 64, through the northern split. The exit ramps look good, but there again, bottom of the exit ramp, that's another place that if you're not really careful, you may find some oil in the roadway and slide right through there. On our Waze map, through the construction zones, we're okay. It's been a little windy this morning, so we have some debris in the roadway on Leestown Road, also on the interstate, so just be extra careful, and you should be able to get in. We'll keep you up to date. Now back to you in the studio.
Right, and of course, good music and fun on 98.1 The Bull when you get in your car. Our time this morning is 6:42 on WKYT, and we have a lot more coming up for you this morning.
Well, there's a song dedicated to this road, but now Route 66 getting more in tune with drivers. We'll show you what happens when the rubber meets the road on this popular highway.
And speaking of roads, yeah, we're getting some wet conditions out and about, now crossing over 75. So expect this bulk of rain to move in the eastern zones as we go through time. But what's back behind that for the afternoon? I'll break down that forecast hour by hour coming up.
There's a little rain on the track at Keeneland. Opening day for the fall meet later on today at 6:53 now.
New this morning, crews are investigating an early morning fire at a historic building in downtown Harrodsburg.
Here's some eyewitness video of the fire at the old Opera House on Main Street. Flames and smoke can be seen on the second floor. Right now, crews are still there putting out hot spots. They did say it started in the front of the building on the left side. The building is being used currently as a church. Right now, crews are trying to ventilate the Opera House section of the building to check out the damage there and see what is going on inside. School assessment results officially in. There are some mixed results for schools across Kentucky. Of the 51 public schools in Fayette County, 13 were classified as distinguished, but William Wells Brown in the East End was the lowest scoring elementary school in the state, and no high school in Lexington reached the highest status of distinguished. At WKYT.com, you can find a link to see how each school performed. This morning at WKYT, we're hard at work getting ready for the day and the weekend ahead, and here's Rebecca with a look at some of the happenings.
Well, there will be free food games and a chance to ride in a fire truck during this year's Fire Prevention Festival and Parade. All the fun starts at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon at Lexington's Courthouse Plaza. Midland Avenue will be closed between Winchester Road and the street for the parade. Main Street will be blocked between Midland and Mill. You will also be able to meet Alex Brown, this year's junior fire chief. It's an annual tradition spanning back 34 years. Georgetown's Festival of the Horse is underway. The fun running through Sunday. From noon to 9 today, you can enjoy live entertainment, lots of activities for the kids, and take in plenty of food and goods from vendors. Tomorrow, the annual parade starts at noon. More than 30,000 people are expected to come out for the event.
6:55 right now on WKYT.com, tracking all the latest for you, including that fire at the old Opera House in historic Harrodsburg. Things do now appear to be under control. All eyes on the weather on a busy weekend. Micah says we could even get a light frost Saturday night going into Sunday. Believe it or not, you can track those showers rolling through on our First Alert Defender on this opening day for the fall meet at Keeneland. Check it out as you make your plans. We're uncovering more information about the 3 people now under arrest in a violent robbery at a Domino's in Danville. That's where a 21-year-old clerk was shot. She is still in the hospital weeks after the incident. Our web poll spinning out of a law passed in California that bans the use of plastic bags. So we wondered what people thought about plastic bag bans in Kentucky, if that's something that where people want to go. The results fairly close. About 54% say no, and about 45% or so indicating yes, that they would not want to go there. So it's so again 45 yes, 54 no on that. Kentucky.com this morning. Details about the Kentucky testing and accountability scores, an overall improved picture for Fayette County. Big challenges for some schools. Also, a federal judge will consider Kentucky's law that bans electioneering close to polling places. Beautiful fall colors starting to show. The Kentucky Tourism Cabinet has its color fall map up. Just go to KentuckyTourism.com and take a look at some of the best places for leaf looking. And CBS This Morning will be following us at 7 with world and national news and our local updates. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and for the latest anytime, WKYT.com.
Yeah, we're looking outside. That rain's over 75 now, moving over it. It'll be over into the eastern zones. Good news is that's the bulk of the rain. It'll move on out as we go throughout the morning hours. So there is a rain chance there for Keeneland as we head throughout the day, but it's hit and miss, light showers. I'd say still take off.
Yeah, we'll make
That was good. Nobody's more up to date than you. Thank you for joining us on WKYT.